This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Danilo's free. He goes to Gibbs wide. Edge of the box. Foley. Yes! Great goal! What a hit from Arena! Gibbs wide. They've only gone and done it again. Forest back in the lead. Through Morgan Gibbs White. Oh, and he scores! And the City ground goes ballistic.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Red Side of the Trent as we come to you during what is another international break, but the last one until March, I believe. Joining me today there's no Lee Clark, but I am joined by Adam Wicklow and Christian Brown. So, chaps, are you well?
Oh yes, very well.
Thank you. Yes.
Enjoying the break?
Well, there's a big
yeah.
festival at my work, and it's bleeding busy. But no
Try and
football,
give it right,
no football at least to bring us to bring us up or down, I guess.
Well, at least England, from their perspective, got the job done in Greece by beating the bang average side what Greece are. But
Gibbs White assist. Gibbs White
assist, of course. Murillo unfortunately didn't get on against Venezuela, which was a draw for Brazil against Venezuela. I mean,
did you see what happened at the end?
The sprinklers,
Yeah.
That's a good result for Brazil, though. Like Venezuela are unbeaten at home.
That's not a good result for Brazil.
Imagine you saying Brazil have just drew with Venezuela. You'd be like, what the hell? Shows how kind of not far, but they have fallen from what they once were, weren't they, Brazil?
Massively,
So, on this episode, basically, we're just going to go through the season so far, look back at his predictions from the summer. We're just over a quarter of the way in now. As top three players so far. Then I've got a little quiz for the guys. We're going to speak about contracts, what are expiring at the end of this season, the end of next season. Also, a birthday spread, and then a little bit of a roundup and a few bits and pieces at the end. So, first of all, then we'll start with the season predictions, and I'll start with yourself, Christian. So I'm just going to get yours up now. So I'm just looking at yours. So you predicted Forest to finish 15th. Taiwo top scorer, which I think definitely not going to happen.
No.
Gibbs White player of the season. Arsenal to win the league, as we all did, I believe, apart from Lee. Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Newcastle top four, and then Southampton, Brentford, Ipswich to go down. So what do you make of your predictions? Is there any you would look to change? If I have to ask you now.
60% of those are all right, and the rest of them are not so all right.
We'll start with the Forest one because the position, because that means the most, I think.
15th. It's difficult now because I think if we were to finish 15th now, I still think if you said to us, like, you go into the last 5-6 games of the season knowing that Forest are mathematically safe pretty much, I still think that would represent huge progress, and I think we'd all be very happy with that. So we would all have snapped the hands off at the start of the season. But I think after this 10-game run where we've mixed it up with the elite, we've won at Liverpool, obviously we've drawn at Chelsea, we've drawn at Brighton, second best away record in the league, second best offensive record in the league. I think after that you're sort of thinking, is 15th maybe too low? But I don't know. I still think in the grand scheme of things, if our worst case scenario this season is that we finish 15th, that's been a good season. I think that's the bottom line of it. I think given what's come before, like, if you can say to me, again, like, no drama going into the final few weeks of the season, no risk of going down, like, you just enjoy the last few games, sort of watch as like all the chaos unfurl elsewhere, knowing that you aren't in it, I think that would be good. But I do think that those at the club and the playing and management staff will have their eyes higher up the league. And I think that's very exciting. And it makes it very exciting for us as fans too. So also you have to see what happens. I'm not expecting this sort of like 1.76 points a game to carry on for the rest of the season, especially with the run we've got coming up. But if it did, I think we finished like 6th or 7th. So it's an exciting time, and one that we should really cherish given all the years of purgatory we've had before this. So we'll just have to see what happens. I think without being a cliche, it's just literally take it one game at a time and see where we are, and just hope we stay above that like dreaded dotted line.
Yeah, just look. Obviously, I think it's going to be very tough for Taiwo to. It's going to be a renaissance, isn't it? If
30 goals second half of the season.
yeah,
Let's go.
and probably the other part of yours, I'm just going to. This is from like a Premier League perspective. Is Arsenal for the league now? All us three did predict Arsenal in the summer. They're our next opponents. Do you think they are still in the title race, or do you think they're kind of out of it?
I think because Rodri's got injured, they are still in the title race. I also think they've had a very difficult set of fixtures compared to the other teams around them. So that may have had a part to play as well. So obviously they, in theory, now have a more favourable run. If they do what we expect them to win games, at some point you'd expect Liverpool and City to drop points. I mean, the way City are going without Rodri, they could be third in the 3 horse race at this rate. So yeah, I don't want to call time on that one just yet, but there's been a lot of things from Arsenal I've just not like. Obviously, living where I do in the south, I've got a lot of mates who are Arsenal fans. Like some of them, obviously, we've had one in the pod before in Burnsy who goes home and away. He was in an interesting week last week. Was in Milan on Wednesday and then Stamford Bridge on the Sunday, wherever it was. Just
Bad life, isn't it?
Yeah, and he was saying that like he finds it a bit frustrating because it felt like obviously that 22-23 season, Arsenal were blistering. 247 days top of the league, playing a really sort of fluid, expansive style of play. Then he tied it up a bit the next year with Rice. They came even closer. Just narrowly fell short, like finest of fine margins, to quote old Warburton. And then this season, the recruitment seems to have changed. You're saying that rather than sign players that could have actually progressed the team, Arteta has just signed like basketball players like Marino and just like gone for like aerial duels and stuff like that rather than anything else. It hasn't
squad,
really worked.
kind of squad players.
Yeah, rather than sort of a player that can take it to that next level. And I think obviously Osimhen going to Galatasaray the final day, well, out the window. But that whole like saga just hasn't really, knowing that a player like that was theoretically available and wasn't pushed for, I think it's left a bit of a bad taste. But so they'll see. I think he's sort of like, it's weird because obviously they've had so much like joy over the last, nothing to show for it. It's a bit like Spurs and the Poch a few years ago where they were so good, had nothing to show for that either. And he's in a camp now where it's sort of like, if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, try and time to change it up. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that you can't rule them out just yet, but the way they're playing football at the minute, I know Odegaard's being out had a big part of that, but it's just like, Stokes, Pulis, but with some branded PR and like sprinkle on top. It's not pretty to watch. It's not attractive. It's just very methodical and it's getting exposed at times. So, but obviously there's still a lot of time for that to change. So we'll see.
Well, let's hope we can do his own title charge.
Absolutely.
Some good by getting the result at Arsenal. Tongue in cheek there, but so Adam, yours was quite different to Christian. So you had us in 14th position, as I believe me, you and Lee all had us 14th. I think you're going to get your top scorer right. You're the only one who actually said Chris Wood. So yeah, fair play on that because he's, what is he, 6 ahead of anyone else? Something like that, you'd say? What's the next best? 2, maybe?
Yeah,
Hudson-Odoi 2.
Yeah.
You also went, obviously, as I've just said, Arsenal for the league. Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Spurs, top 4. And then Leicester, Ipswich, Brentford all to go down. Your player of the season, Shark, though, Sangaré, who's obviously injured at the minute. So is it? He starts off okay, didn't he? I'm not going to go too much saying he started off amazing or terrible. I'll sit on the fence. But what? Same again to you with that. The position, what you predicted us 14th. Has that changed from your perspective?
I think it'd be hard to say no, wouldn't it? Because you're like now in the dizzy heights, you've kind of like we've sat at the table at the top, haven't we? And we've kind of got used to things a little bit. But I think you're always going to be. I think if we said we finished 14th, but we was like 5th after the third international break, I think you'd be a little disappointed, wouldn't you? In hindsight, a little bit. You'd be like, we had an opportunity, especially with like how up and down the league is this season. Everyone's beating everyone. I mean, I thought Brighton would do terribly this season because if they've hired a bloke who's younger than me to be their manager, and I thought
spent a lot of money though.
they spent a lot of money, but they're playing some really nice football. I mean, they demolished City the other week, so and it was great to see. So the league is so up in the air, other than Liverpool being so consistent, I'd say. So, but I think if we finish above 40th, then as Christian's already reiterated, it's a magnificent season for us. It shows brilliant progress. But I do think, like, us as supporters and them involved in the club in more detail, will be a little disappointed if we did finish that low, to be honest. I think 10th and above now is probably more kind of our aim. But that's also a little, maybe a bit too ambitious straight away as well at the same time. When I say it sounds a little bit mental. So I think anywhere between like 14th and like 8th would still represent massive progress, like humongous progress, if anything, actually.
8th would be the Conference League, so we'll take 8. Yeah, because it is still ridiculously tight. I'm looking at the table now, and we're 5th on 19, and Manchester United are 13th on 15. So there's a 4-point gap.
Yeah,
between,
it's massive,
and then obviously there's a little bit of a gap then between United and West Ham, a 3-point gap. So yeah, it is still very tight, very Championship-like this season, which is good for the Premier League. I'll talk about your Player of the Year shout. Obviously, as you said, he started okay. Sangaré's then, I think he's, as we spoke about in the last, torn his hamstring, so I'm not sure when he's going to be back. What would you like to see happen with Sangaré? Because he's someone who we talk about quite a lot. Obviously, at the minute, we've got Ryan Yates and Dominguez, who have pretty much got the shirts woven to the backs, haven't they? They've been both very good. You've also got Elliot Anderson, who can play there. We've got Danilo to come back. Also got James Ward-Prowse on loan. Do you think his future lies at Forest, or do you think it maybe lies elsewhere?
It's really difficult, because I think if you hadn't had that injury, we don't know what would have happened, do we? That's the beauty of hindsight. Like, would we have got all them results that we've had so far with Sangaré in the team? I don't know, but we all even said, I think in our own WhatsApp group against Newcastle, we could have probably done something with someone like him because of his physicality and his ability to play as well at times, and just be there and kind of be a disruptor. I mean, his statistics for tackles and interceptions were still pretty high, even though he'd been out for like 4 or 5 weeks. Still early up until recently, he's probably gone out of that kind of league table, as it were. But I think if you want to see him work his socks off and earn his way back into the team. Like, if he earns his way back into the team when players are fit, then you know he's warranted the shirt. Maybe if he comes on like players have done, like Sosa and Jota, and kind of shown they want to fight for the shirt, and kind of wins his spot in that sense, then you can't really grumble, because you know his desire's there at least. But if he comes back and he's always on the bench, and then he comes on and doesn't really make an impact, then I think you kind of say, like, we're going to get to the summer and probably look to wash our hands with him, unfortunately. I really want it to work. I want it to always work for any player that comes to the football club.
You'd be bloody weird if you didn't, let's be honest.
Yeah, you would. But so it's a strange one, because he's definitely got the ability, but he's just not quite shown that potentially, has he? But he must be looking at it from the sideline and really itching to get back involved, because he must think, like, I can make a difference to get this team into those upper echelons of the league. But it's all if buts and maybes at the moment. We've got to get him fit. I know he was in that video where Nuno and Chris Wood got their awards, so he must be not far. He must be obviously still doing a lot of rehab work and everything else. So he can't be that far from being back in training and getting involved, because we do need a few reinforcements back in central midfield.
Yeah.
We've been a little bit light, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we've said about other centre midfielders at the club that for certain games are ideal and probably certain games are not. So, you know, that probably goes with Sangaré. For certain games, like, it might not be ideal, but like for the Newcastle game, we said we probably could have done with him, as shown by the game up at St James's Park last season. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with him. But definite competition for places for sure when him and Danilo come back. But moving on, and we're basically, as I said earlier, just over a quarter of the way through the season. So just basically, guys, what have been the top 3 players for you so far? So mine would be, I think you'd have to go Chris Wood number 1, wouldn't you? I mean, 8 and 11, I've gone Milenkovic second, because he seemed to have sorted out set piece issues, apart from obviously the last game. And then the third one was a tough one, but I did go for Ola Aina for number 3. So start with you, Christian. Who would your top 3 be this season so far?
I think the top 2 are pretty much locked in. I'll be surprised. I mean, we could be different for different sake, but I think really, it's you're right. It's Wood and Milenkovic, the top 2. The third one, it could be anyone really. You can make an argument for so many people. You can make an argument for Dominguez. You can make it for his recent form, where he's looked like an Argentina international playing for Forest. You can make an argument for Yates, who's had calls to get the England squad by some sections of the fan base. You can make an argument for Murillo, who just looks, his game's elevated massively by having Milenkovic next to him. Sells has looked significantly better. I know, obviously, he had a bit of a shocker against Newcastle at the weekend, but you can count that as a little blip compared to the other games that come before that. He's been so good this season, made some outstanding saves. I think his save percentage is really high as well. You can make an argument for, obviously Gibbs White for getting into the England squads, and admittedly he hasn't got the assists or goals really that much for Forest. But if you look at his key passing for Forest, I mean, look at the West Ham game, for example. Like that pass to put Moreno in down the left, like that won't go on the stats boards, but it directly led to a goal. So even Moreno, you can make an argument for him because he's been, now he's hopefully touched wood, injury free. He's been immense, like a left back. He's sort of like you look at Villa, it's like, but yeah, what have you got ahead of him to let him go? Like, how do you have a half lived sort of thing? But yeah, I think Ainley's a fair shout. I think I will go for Murillo. I know it's been weird to have 2 centre backs in your back. In your top 3, but I think just because of how good our defensive record's been and just how good those 2 have been as well. I mean, watching those 2 play, it's it is like watching a Champions League level pairing, Milenkovic, Murillo, and they've only just started getting going really. So, they've only played 11 games together or whatever it may be. So I just think that his game's just gone up so much. I mean, we've seen it in patches, like I've mentioned it a few times. The Palace game, for example, where they're ridiculously intense high press was causing us all sorts of problems, and Murillo was just beating it like nothing, just beating his man and just finding feet and getting Forest on the attack so quickly. Having a player that can do that, obviously we've discussed it before, Adam's mentioned it before, I'm sure we'll talk about it again this summer, sadly. Finding a way to replace him in the aggregate or otherwise, as Moneyball says, is going to be so hard, even with Morasso coming in, even with potentially Carmo coming in, because you might gain in some aspects, but you won't gain in others. And finding someone that skillful and that good in the ball, and someone who's been that solid as well, it's just going to be very, very tough. So yeah, I think that was my top 3. So Woods, Milenkovic, Murillo.
We've kind of just become used to Tammy Murillo. The positive. I know, obviously, I don't really like a lot about selling players in the future, but you kind of have to be realistic. But the positive for me is that we hold the cards, and we're not going to be. I seen, obviously, there was a couple of reports saying Real Madrid were looking at 40 million, which is way below, and it said that we was looking at double, and was in no rush. When we was in no basically pressure to sell. I think that's a very bit of a tactic from Real Madrid, isn't it, of saying, we're the biggest club in the world. Obviously, you're Nottingham Forest, and we'll try and basically get some money off. But we'll see on that one. Adam, what about you?
Just to touch on the Real Madrid thing, do they spend money on any players these days? Everyone's getting them for free.
Yeah,
from Bellingham.
Well, I mean, I bet Mbappe has been rewarded personally, hasn't he?
Yeah, even Tchouaméni cost them 80 odd million. So they do spend money.
It's just they've brought Anta recently.
I seen a report they're going to try and get Trent for free, Alphonso Davies for free.
I think that's done. Trent. Yeah, I think it's a done deal.
So funny.
There you go. If they're selling them for free, that frees up more funds from the There you go.
It'd be
$100 million on the table. Let's go.
It will be extremely interesting to see who the fans and our player of the season and this kind of little award is at the end of the season, depending on where you finish. Because it's if we finish quite high up, Chris Woods obviously scored 30-something goals for the season, but also equally our defence must be brilliant. So it's really going to be tough to kind of weigh it up. But
compared to last season, when the choices were probably minimal, weren't they? What was it?
Just literally Murillo, because he had about 7 goal line clearances and was
Yeah.
like a wizard.
So
But yeah,
it's
no,
good.
I think top two, I'd agree with you both in Wood and Milenkovic. The third one is extremely difficult because you've had players kind of not playing patches, but have like a good run of games by being like the best player, but then still being good, and someone else kind of taking that mantle. Like I mean, Christian didn't even mention Elliot Anderson, I don't think, in that, and I think he's been brilliant. I mean, I'm going to actually go for him in third, Elliot Anderson. I just think to come with the whole 35 million, I know we've all said it's not 35 million, but I think kind of we wasn't a bit was a very, very unsure about him in terms of he's played a lot of games for Newcastle and kind of couldn't find his feet in Newcastle. But he's come to us and he's been brilliant since he's come in. I think that he kind of took his opportunity with both hands and kind of gone for it. And he looks like he's settled in really, really well for us. And I think he'll be a tremendous talent going forward. And I mean, I think a lot of us have kind of that doubt's gone now if Morgan Gibbs White's not available or if he ends up getting sold. We've kind of got a player there that's ready to step in and take that opportunity, but whilst he's quite versatile at the same time. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Elliot Anderson on this occasion for our third best player. But there's so many others that everyone, each player you've both mentioned could easily have it, as well as like Yates, Dominguez, whoever, Murillo, obviously, Sells. Yeah, they could all have it. But I'll go Anderson.
Another good thing about Anderson is he's only 21, so
Yeah, he's a baby.
He's another signing who, if he carries on this projection, and I don't want to get too carried away because it's obviously only a few games and he's still a young kid, but if he carries on this projection, he's someone else who we're gonna, in the future, he's gonna be, I don't know, valued a lot higher than what we've paid for. Wonder if Newcastle down the line might come back in. That'd be a twist of fate, wouldn't it? Sold him to us for 15 million, he's gone back for 50. But yeah, we'll see on that. Just to both of you, do you think, I know I said there Wood and Milenkovic would be 1 and 2. Is there a case to have Milenkovic as number 1? Because
Oh God, yeah.
the set pieces were so bad last season that we've only conceded 2 in 11 games this season,
and one of them was a direct free kick. Yeah. I don't even think that it's not in the set pieces aspect. It's the whole it's a whole lift the whole back four gets when he plays. He's a proper leader. Something that we've definitely missed. I know, obviously, I don't want to sort of trample over those who have come before us. But if you look last season, I remember when we blew up at Luton, against Luton, I should add. That and I remember Paul Taylor in the Athletic made a comment saying that Worrell was brought on for his leadership. It was like when Niakate was right there, captain of minds, and was overlooked, sort of thing. And you've got Milenkovic, who just trumps both of those in that regards as like a natural sort of leader. Like, you look how calm the defence looks when he plays. Look at how calm Sells looks. Look, and that's definitely played a huge part in Sells' upturn in form as well, because he's confident what's in front of him. Like, look how well Murillo plays alongside Milenkovic. Look how well Aina and Moreno have been as part of a back. Obviously, this isn't just down to Milenkovic, of course. Obviously, this is down to Nuno's tactics and Nuno's system.
It's just helped having a settled back four. And I mean, we've said before, God, how many changes did we have last season? It was
like seven
crazy.
different centre-back.
Even the wing backs last season as well was changed regularly. So,
whereas now, it just feels like whoever comes in, they sort of look over their shoulder and see him alongside him. They just feel so much more at ease, and that can only be a good thing. When you've got someone that good in your ranks and someone who inspires that level of confidence, and you've got a good chance going far. And I think there's definitely a case that he could be picked as number 1. I think if you were to look at it, you're right. If Wood gets 25 goals this season, or gate crashes the 100 club even in the Premier League, which he still could do, if he goes to an absolute mad one like Kevin Phillips, then obviously he's going to get it. But yeah, I think that Milenkovic has just been an absolute revelation for £12 million as well. Like Lee says, our recruitment in the summer, the main reason, I think this is why me and Lee were so annoyed with some of the predictions, because you were right in summer, Reece. We came 16th and 17th. Media tipping us to go down wasn't a surprise, and that was fair game. But it was more the comments that came alongside it that really sort of irked me. It was sort of like, Forest just signed over players again. They've got no forward to who they are. They're just signing players for the sake of it. Look at them. It's like, okay, fine, you say that. You'll be proved wrong. And Milenkovic is a perfect example of that.
Well, unless you're one of the Sky Six in this country, the media, it's just a general kind of stereotypical view, isn't it? It's very, very hard, I think, in the UK as generally to shake off stereotypes.
Massively, yeah.
We've obviously got this stereotype of a club now who just, buy players at willy-nilly, and it's going to be very, very hard to get rid of that. But I'll read out some of you, some fans who basically replied to my post on the pod, obviously asking the same question. So start with James. So he had Milenkovic 1, Wood 2, Aina 3, Gary Kirkby, Milenkovic, Wood Anderson, Ashton, Wood, Milenkovic, Moreno. He also noted that Anderson and Dominguez for a shout. And he said, to be fair, he says no one has really been bad for us so far, which is a pretty good shout. Craig Holland, Wood, Milenkovic, Sells, D, Milenkovic, Aina, Wood. Bryn Smith has gone Yates, and Yates. Carl Booth, Wood, Murillo, Milenkovic. John O'Reilly, Milenkovic, Wood, Aina. Sam, Milenkovic, Wood, Murillo. Grant Fellows, Wood, Murillo, Aina. So no Milenkovic in Grant's top 3. Martin Fretwell, Milenkovic, Wood, Sells. WIC, Sells, Wood, Milenkovic. Tom Newton, Milenkovic, Wood, Aina. Robert Hare is saying this is like naming your favourite child, but he's gone Aina, Wood, Dominguez. Reece Williams, Wood, Milenkovic, Murillo. Premier Elliott, Milenkovic, Wood, Murillo. Charlie, Milenkovic, Wood, Aina. Marianakas, Wood, Murillo, Dominguez. Pete Husky has to be Wood for the scoring record. Milenkovic should transform our defensive chops, and then he's gone Yates for holding the midfield together superbly after Sangaré, and Danilo got crocked. And Andrew Mosley, last one but not least, Milenkovic, Wood, Aina. So plenty of different names branded about there, which is really good to see and just shows how well we've done so far. So let's hope we can keep it up after this break starting next weekend. So I've got a little quiz for you guys. So it's 5 questions and they're all very, very tough. So these are kind of on the season so far. So get you, but they are kind of historical as well, but they are linked to the season so far. So get your thinking caps on. So number 1, I saw this on FootMob yesterday is why I put this in. So who is the only outfield player from our last starting lineup who hasn't scored or assisted this season?
Oh, wow. Our only outfield player hasn't scored or assisted this season.
So obviously Sells hasn't, but who's the only outfield player?
I thought did not
Williams?
Sells not get the assist for Wood?
No. What Vaz had that? If FPL, I know FPL, I think gave it, didn't it? But no, that wasn't an assist. Vaz headed it up in the air.
Not scored or assist.
No, it's from those last starting lineup. So the team.
Starting lineup.
Yeah, the team that started against Newcastle, only one in that team has not scored or assisted.
It'll be Nico Dominguez.
Correct. Well done. Yeah. So everybody else has either got an assist or scored.
But he's ran the circumference of the earth, so that's fine.
Yeah, he's done his job. He's been really good. So unless you've seen this is an interesting question. So Nuno has now won the Manager of the Month 5 times in his Premier League career. Can you name any of the other 4 managers, according to the Premier League, this says, who have also won it 5 times? So there's 4 managers who he's joined.
Well, surely Pep would be one of them.
No, it's basically people who are on 5.
Oh, on 5.
Yeah,
right.
so on 5. Yeah, so if you've won it 7 times, then that don't count. So basically, into the group of 5.
I take it the other 4 are probably not managers in the Premier League.
Well, I'll give you some clues. So one is still managing. He's now managing in Spain. One is still managing in the Premier League now. One has managed in the Premier League before and also managed England, and the other one is a Premier League title winner and has just got another job this week.
So
Ranieri is one of them.
Ranieri is one, yeah.
Roy Hodgson?
No.
Oh, really? Okay. Managed
England. Ranieri is one. So we'll
Um,
start with the first one. He's now managing in Spain.
I can't even think who's managing in Spain.
Is it Pellegrini?
No, he's managed 2 teams in the Premier League.
Foreign manager.
Not Claude Puel, surely.
No, one's quite a surprise who he managed, and the other one is one of the major teams.
I can't even think. I don't even watch Spanish football anymore. Oh God, Ancelotti.
Correct. Well done.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So he's and then
We got
one's
him
a
managed
current.
Chelsea and Everton, didn't he?
Yeah.
yeah.
Maddie managed Everton. So the other one. So there's two left now. So one's a current Premier League manager.
Sean
He's ma-
Dyche.
No, he's managed two teams in the Premier League.
Oh, trying to think. Not Arteta, not Guardiola.
It won't be
This
Gary
is
Neal, surely not.
Marco Silva.
No.
No, he's managed more, hasn't he?
3.
Yeah.
Hull,
So
Everton, and Fulham.
So the two teams he's managed in the Premier
Eddie
League are still
Howe.
in it. Correct, Eddie Howe. Yeah, I was about to go. He's also managed a Championship team. So the last one,
England, ex-England, you say?
yeah, he's also retired now.
Not
Five-time winner.
That's why I
Managed
say
England. He's managed.
That's why I say Roy.
I can at least think of two teams in the Premier League. He's also managed one of them teams twice.
Oh, not Roy.
It's not Allardyce, is it?
No.
Allardyce, yeah.
No.
Actually, no, he's not in the yeah. Newcastle's the only one left, and Newcastle and Everton.
So Newcastle's right. He's managed them twice.
Pardew.
No.
No, he's not managed them twice.
Newcastle twice in England, and he's also managed another team in the Premier League.
Oh, blimey.
Robson?
No.
Robson? No, it can't be.
No.
It can't be.
Robson's dead.
Well, he's just technically retired, so...
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, God. That's really bad. I can't think.
The other team he's managed is Manchester City.
What? Oh, what? That's really thrown me off now. Oh,
managed
Mark
England.
Hughes.
No,
No.
managed England.
Oh,
Managed
England.
Manchester
He's
City.
managing
I was like, I'm losing my marbles, mate. Losing my
He's managed
marbles.
Manchester City, managed Newcastle twice,
Kevin
and also managed
Keegan,
England.
Keegan,
Correct,
yeah.
Kevin
Oh,
Keegan.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
I
Right.
really should have said him a lot earlier.
Right, so the next question is, this is according to one of their members. So since the introduction of Forza Garibaldi, they've done 18 displays at the City Ground. How many of those have we won?
Oh, wow.
It's a high number, I think we've only lost like 2 or 3. Although I looked at the list, and I don't think the Everton one was on there.
Yeah, there's a few that was missed, but this is according to someone who's in Forza Garibaldi, Steph. So that he told me this the other day because I mentioned it to him off the tweet, and then I think he had a bit of a tot up. So 18 displays. How many of those have we won?
I'm gonna go 10. 10, 6 draws, 2 losses.
No, it's more than 10.
It's more than
12.
12 is correct. Yeah.
Oh.
So I think we've won 12, drew 3, and lost 3. So the 3 losses are Liverpool, United in the cups, and Newcastle at the weekend. So that was his first league loss, which is pretty annoying.
Everton as well now. So there's no.
Yeah, Everton as well, isn't they? Yeah. So that's another one. Yeah.
Someone messed up. We're looking inside.
Yeah. So so it might be 4 losses, 2 draws. That might be correct. Right. So question number 4. So Chris Wood is currently on 77 Premier League goals. The next player up, and he's the only one on this tally, is on 78. Who is that player? So this is a player, because it is very tough, this one. This is a player from the 90s, played for West Ham and Everton. Also very regularly used to be on Soccer Saturday.
Oh, what's his name? Oh, is it Tony Cossey?
Correct, Tony Cossey. Yeah, well done. Yeah, he's on 78.
Good shout.
And then last but not least, this is probably one of the easier ones, but which Forest player has got the most bookings in all competitions this season with 4?
I mean, Sangaré had about 4 before he got bloody injured, but it's probably not him.
No, he's on 3 in the league.
Is Jack Colback still playing for us?
Someone gets books on a regular for us, and I'm pretty sure it's like Gibbs White.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Yates hasn't been booked as much this season, but he still might have got 4.
3, but he's not got 4. So Yates is on 3, as is Sangaré. There's another player on 3, but there is someone on 4.
Dominguez.
Correct. Yeah. So he's had 3.
He's good for a tactical foul, isn't he?
Yeah. The other one is Nico Williams. He's had 3 as well. So yeah. Right. We'll move on to basically something that is going to come up in, I'd imagine, in due course. We'd like to think, but we've all kind of said on this pod, so there's no point in chatting about, and that we'd like to see Chris Wood, Ola Aina, who are out of contract at the end of the season, be given new deals. And also at the end of next season, Callum Hudson-Odoi is also out of contract. So that's something obviously we kind of need to look at. So just going to go through the other players who are out of contract. Obviously, one name that did come up for the end of next season is Emmanuel Dennis. Sure, we won't 4 more years for him, maybe. The chant could go at the end of the season. But 2 players who are out of contract at the end of this season, Christian, are Harry Toffolo, who's done, I've seen again this week some brilliant work with his Bottled Up Blokes, isn't it, on, mental health. Just seems a top guy, doesn't he, Harry Toffolo? And also Willie Bolly's out of contract at the end of the season. So, unfortunately, with you playing head on, would you look to extend either of them, or would you kind of shake hands at the end of the season, say thank you, lads, but that's time?
The latter for both, I think. I think while we only have one left back, really, don't get me wrong, like Aina can play there, but he's very clearly better as right back. And obviously you basically saying Toffolo's Moreno's backup. While there's only one left back, I don't think you can really say, yeah, let's sell Toffolo in January and shake hands and move on, sort of thing. But I would keep him to the end of the season, definitely. I think he's been a very good servant for Forest. He's never complained about not playing. It seems he's always seemed like, he's got a really good team mentality. He's been that run from the first half of last season. He was really good. I know obviously Forest weren't winning games, but had a really good spell in the team then. He's for some reason on the Nuno, he hasn't been anywhere near as good. Like, I think the Chelsea game last season, he was very suspect. The Bournemouth game this season, he obviously started and then, he basically kicked one in for them, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think, if we paid, 2 million for him, I think he's more than earned, justified that fee. He's been, like I said, a really good servant for us. It's sort of like on a lower scale, the sort of Cohen-Davis thing all over again with Toffolo and O'Brien. We all expected O'Brien and Davis to be like the stars, and they weren't. And it was Toffolo and Cohen who have actually had a big lasting impact. I think the work as well that Toffolo's done away from the fields with the whole mental health side of things has been absolutely commendable and incredible. Obviously, I saw him and Zach Abbott do something very recently, which was, again, really, really good thing to see, and good to see the club do things like that. And as a spokesperson for the club, if you like, he's been tremendous. But yeah, unfortunately, from a playing perspective, I just don't really see a role beyond this season, unfortunately. So yeah, I think it'd be time to move on. But again, he'd go with great wishes, much like when other players like Cook and Colback, for example, left previously. You said them it's quite weird. It's quite weird now. We're sort of losing players who you're not happy to see go, but it's necessary for them to leave. That makes sense, and you wish them well. Whereas before, we've had so many years of booting players out the door and going go on, F off, don't come back. So it's quite nice to have it the other way around. And it's similar with Big Willie Bolly. Unfortunately, he's not going to shake that top 2. And with Milenkovic and Moreno at back, so I should add. And to be honest, I think even with people like Omar Mamadele, for example, I think we're probably looking at a time where he either needs to get a loan, or
and he's gone loan in January.
Yeah, he's going to be behind, or you see Bolly sort of blocking that sort of pathway a little bit. So again, I just think same with Morato. Morato's overtaken Bolly now anyway, really, in the rankings. So yeah, I think it's just unfortunate because both have been very good for Forest. I think Bolly especially, think how slow he started and how sort of heavy he looks in the ball. I remember we beat Palace 1-0. It was him and Worrell centre back, and he looked so sluggish at the ball at his feet. And then as he got a bit of a run in the team, he looked imperious. And his leadership, his ability, the way he just battered everything out the box with his massive heads, it played a huge part in us surviving for 2 years. So yeah, I think it'd be a shame to see them both leave, but in both scenarios, shake hands and move on. Unfortunately,
I think they'd both be top signings for Championship clubs.
Oh, massively,
especially Toffolo, obviously, because he's Toffolo going towards 30, maybe.
Yeah, he'll still be good, and obviously, even teams in the Constant, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if Bolly went to another top league in Europe that wasn't as intense, but did really well. So
yeah, we'll have to see on that, but. plenty of time before the end of the season. They might be called on before then. But so your two, Adam, are for not this summer coming up in terms of this season. It's the summer after. So basically, one's Nico Williams, who, I mean, it's out of the question. We don't want to see him go on a free because of obviously the money was spent. And the other one is Zach Abbott, who is someone who's broke into the first team this season, the 13 squad. He's only 18. So what would you kind of like to see happen for them too?
Pressing the wrong button. I think with Nico Williams, he's in a bit of a precarious spot, isn't he? Because he come in to be kind of first choice and replace Jed Spence, and kind of found it a little bit difficult to adapt. But I think under Nuno, he's been pretty good. It's just better competition in front of him, and I think from Nico Williams' perspective, he wants to play football. So it's a really difficult one. I think he's got a difficult kind of conversation to have either in January or in the summer, really, with like he says to Nuno, like he wants to play football. Like where's he going to get his game time from? And I know he's been coming on as a sub and doing really well, but I just think that he's someone that will want first team football and might seek a move away. And I think like that's fair. So if we could get if that was the case and we would look to sell, I think we just want to recoup as much of that money as we can. I mean, if we sold for a profit, I'd be very surprised. But I wouldn't be surprised if we just recouped our losses there and kind of broke even.
Technically, if he was to go in the summer, then obviously we would make a profit because of how PSR works.
Well, yeah, okay.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And then Zach Abbott, I think signing for a new deal and then get him out on loan to a good side in either the Championship or the upper echelons of League One. I think Championship more so from what we've seen from him. I think he could do a job. I don't see why he couldn't. He's good on the ball, and I just kind of like look at the progression of some players that have come through, like Levi Colwell and Taylor Holtwood-Bellis recently, to just kind of off the top of their head, who have really benefited from Championship loans and then come back much better players. Ben White's another one as well. I know maybe he's not as tall or as big as those lads. He's still growing, obviously, at 18. I just think just get him out somewhere, get him first team football, men's football. He's obviously a talent because otherwise Nuno wouldn't have said that he's part of the first team anymore. But these are sort of the lads that you want coming through still. I mean, just seen Zion Blake sign a professional contract, and I know loads of clubs were after him, and he's been training with the first team as well, I've heard, and he's meant to be a tremendous talent. So you want to keep your locals for as long as you can and try, hopefully give them an opportunity. But that's what I'd do personally. I think Nico Williams maybe sell. I think Zach Abbott sign him for a long term, get him out on loan, get him some football.
Yeah, I think it's key that we do. If Abbott was to go out on loan, that we do get him the right loan, because we've seen probably too many, haven't we, recently?
We've messed up a
poor
lot of
loans. You know,
Song is the biggest one at the moment.
Yeah, you know, I think Ollie Hammond go to like Cheltenham last season that hardly played. You know, like I say, Martin ones were pretty much a disaster.
Even Sapra Song's gone to
Sapra Song's a great guy.
Steve Evans that was lyrical about him, and he's not played I wouldn't be surprised to recall him and send him somewhere else.
Does Steve Evans look to you the type of bloke that coaches players? Not really.
Terribly.
I know that's very stereotypical, but he's just more of a motivator kind of manager.
We'd be better off sending him to Mansfield, because at least Nigel Clough, you know what he's going to give.
Or even Knots, you know what I mean? I hate to help them out, but obviously you have to think about Forest first. Look at the way it's developed Ryan Yates. You know, he played in League Two, wanted with him, obviously then went on to Scunthorpe. I know he was at Barrow first, went to Yates, and then now look at him, Premier League footballer. So yeah, it's about picking the right loans. So if that does happen, hopefully we can get somewhere what is the correct one. I
almost would like I said, I'd rather, to be honest, given the choices, I think given how Abbott and Blake are viewed of the academy, I think it either has to be completely imperative it's the right club or just don't send them at all. I think that it's not like it was 10, 20 years ago where like it was very much, if you're a young player, you go out, you learn your trade, you bulk up a bit, you come back. Given how good like the technicality of PL2 is now, I mean, you see people like, you know, Labia, for example, at Chelsea, like he's shone at PL2 level. There's been loads of examples like that as well. Players who have done really well there, honed their technical crafts. and gone on to progress that way, rather than just like go out on loan, have a very detrimental time, and then come back like a shell of the player you were before. So I don't know. I think it would have to be either like a perfect fit in that you're going to guaranteed like, okay, you're going to play X amount of games, whatever else, you'll be doing this and this, or just don't bother, just keep them in the PL2, keep them around the first team where they're going to be physical anyway with the players that we've got, because obviously they're going to train how they play anyway, and you've got it's in house. It's all like looked after by Forest, for example. You've got, say, for example, in Abbott's case, you'll have him doing like heading training with Milenkovic, for example. That's surely better than going out on loan to like Crawley and just getting elbowed in the face by some Matt Smith-esque striker. Like I just think it's a very like, old-fashioned view to say just get him out on loan. The game's changed now.
It has, yeah.
I
You've also
suppose,
got
but
the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. I know we exited
Yeah.
that unfortunately in the week, but that's another 3 games.
I suppose what I'm getting at is as well is like the football even that is going down the pyramid is also changed as well. A lot of
true.
teams have took the influences of like Klopp and Guardiola and
It's
kind of
Pep,
tried to implement it in some capacity down the lower league. So the football in the pyramid is drastically improved and changed a lot. There are still obviously that old school in there, and that's what makes football so brilliant, that there are different styles still, but there is a lot of good football and a lot of good players. I mean, Sunderland in the Championship, they've got some absolute tremendous youngsters at the moment. I know we're linked to Chris Rigg and someone else from Sunderland as well. So, I mean, I'm hoping that's what our transfer policy kind of goes forward. I know we've shopped on the continent, but it would be nice to like kind of be a little bit like Palace or Brighton, where you nab a few from the Championship that are obviously high quality, and we kind of get them a little bit on the cheap and turn them into superstars. I mean, that'd be great, but that's a long way away yet.
Yeah, Darren McCanty, the Peterborough chairman, mentioned this on his pod, saying that there is a snobbery from Premier League clubs to dip into the Championship and League One as well. He's raving about a guy they've got up front at the minute who says he will play Premier League football.
Is that Kwame Poku?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, he's been banged. Peterborough have got like a striker conveyor belt, haven't they?
Yeah,
they always have. I don't know what's in their waters.
It's weird, isn't it? Like Mikel Smith and
McLean,
McLean,
Tony, obviously.
Even the one, was it Jack Marriott? The one Derby.
Yeah, Jack Marriott. Yeah, plenty of it. Well, we've apparently got this extensive database now, haven't we, of English players? Obviously, we all know that English players do go for more money as well. So if you can get players on the cheap, and then obviously they progress like we have done with Elliot Anderson, then obviously you're going to make money on them. Just to wrap up, Adam, with this one, we obviously mentioned Nico Williams. What would you kind of value him at if someone comes in and let's say they're coming in the summer? What would you kind of be looking at money wise to say, we'll actually take?
I don't want to be too unrealistic, but I wouldn't want us to sell for too cheap. But you'd probably say like what 10 to 15 million, maybe 10 million. Probably be reasonable. For a second choice fullback, but he can play both sides. I actually think he's better at left back than right back. Weirdly, every time I've seen him come on at left back this season, I just think, hey, look, he looks way more comfortable. I don't know why. I do think he's a good player, and he seems like a good lad to have around. But I think just at his age, he's going to want to play, isn't he? But I just think we're either going to sign Moreno on a permanent, so left back's going to be difficult for him to get at. Hopefully sign Aina for a more of a deal, and then you still got Eric De Silva Moreira as well as a cover, and he come on the other week, and we've obviously got high hopes for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 10 million, maybe 10, 12 million.
Because there was obviously rumours of Atalanta, weren't they? The summer just gone. Was it 20 million they offered? I think.
I mean, he'd probably be quite good there. They're so gung ho going forward.
Yeah,
Atalanta under.
Yeah, it's a good manager, and they've got there.
I forget how you say his name.
Like Gasparini or something like that.
It's Gasparini, like that,
yeah.
I was thinking of someone else. I was thinking like Spalletti or someone like
that. He's doing really well with Italy at the minute. Right, we'll move on before we kind of do his roundups and let Christian have his have an announcement and stuff. So it's the birthday spread. We love the birthday spread. I listened to the one I talked about the other day. But obviously this birthday spread, if you are familiar with it, is all Forest players. So it's basically 10 Forest players whose birthdays are in the month of November. Adam and Christian will try and guess their age. Obviously, a margin of error will build, and whoever has the less at the end will take the crown, which is Adam's at the minute, I believe. Obviously, the guys will go alternatively until the last question. So, as you're the champion, Adam, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go
Start off with?
first.
You go first, right? So, birthday number 1, Michael Dawson.
Oh, right. Yeah, not long retired. So must be 39.
39, Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was about. I'm gonna go 40. I think he was about 19 in 02-03, weren't he? So I'm gonna go 40.
So you're gonna go 40. He's 41.
Wow.
Right, so very close. So Adam 2, Christian 1. Right, number 2, and this one's to you, Christian. Adlan Gediora. So another man with 2 spells at Forest.
30...
Never scored a boring goal.
Yeah.
37.
Okay.
I
Adam.
wonder if he's still playing. He must be. I'm gonna say 36.
He's 39.
Oh wow.
So that means you're 3 out. Adam, Christian, you're 2 out. So Adam on to 5, Christian on to 3. Number 3 is Erling's dad, Alf Inge Haaland.
That's to me, yeah.
That's to you, mate, yeah.
So Erling Haaland's about 22, 23. So his dad must be at least double his age. I'm going to say 55, his dad is.
55, Christian.
I'll go 57.
He's 52.
Ooh.
So Christian, you're 5 out, on to 8, and Adam, you're 3 out, also on to 8. So 8 after 3. Number 4 is someone I saw got booked last night for Cyprus, and that is Nicholas Ainu.
Oh God. I don't know, like
sent off memorably against Luton in lockdown, I think was his highlight.
28.
28. Adam.
I'm gonna say 29.
He's 29. Well done.
Oh.
Yeah. I had a look where he's at now. I can't remember where he's at. Somewhere random. Right. Yeah. So 4 gone. So Adam on 8, Christian on 9. So very close. So number 5 is Eric Lehigh. So this is to you, Adam.
Oh, is it to me? I thought it was to Christian.
Yeah. No, because it's
yeah. Eric Lehigh. What a boy. Calls it soccer, but we don't mind. Oh God, he can't be that old. 38.
38, Christian.
He was about.
I think I've gone too old, me.
He was about 25 of us, wasn't he? He wasn't that old. 25, 26. I'm gonna go 34.
34. He's 36.
Ooh.
So both you're bang in the middle. So both 2 out. So Adam, you're on to 10. Christian on to 11. So that's at the halfway stage. So
that's not quite as normal. So
yeah. So number 6, Las Palmas' Scott McKenna.
Ooh.
So this is to you, Christian. This one.
I'm going to go 28 again.
28. Adam.
Okay, I can't say 28, can I really? 29.
He's 28.
Yeah, I wanted to say 28. I can't say it.
So Christian direct hit, so you're on to 11. Adam 1 out on to 11 as well. So very tight this. So
this side of this, right?
4 left. So number 7. This guy scored the goal on the day that me and my partner got together, and that is Hilal Soudani.
Was it Reading at home?
It was Reading at home, yeah.
Number 2.
Just to let you in behind the curtain, I was doing YouTube stuff then, and I got that goal on video, and I had like all the Algerians of the nation in my comments. I think I got like 40 or 50,000 hits because I just put Hilal Soudani in capitals in the comments. 34.
34. Christian.
I'm going to go 36. He's a little bit older than that.
He's 37.
Wow.
So that means Adam, you're 3 out onto 14, and Christian, you're 1 out onto 12. So 3 left. So number 8, the best striker of a ball I've ever seen at Forest, Pierre Van Hooijdonk.
Ooh.
His lad's playing, isn't
53.
53. Adam.
His lad's playing now.
Is he at Bologna, his lad still? I think he was there.
Yeah. Not sure, you know. I'm going to say Pierre Van Hooijdonk is 51.
He's 55. So,
I was going to
Christian,
go older as well.
you're 2 out onto 14. Adam, you was 4 out onto 18. So, not a 4 in it, 2 to go.
Christian
number 9 is another brilliant loan signing, Gio Reyna.
I thought he was going to say Carlo Basilio. Gio Reyna, 25.
25.
Yeah, he can't be any older than 24, I reckon. 24.
24.
He's younger. I think he's younger.
He is younger. He's 22.
A
Yeah,
mile
still
out.
very
Anyway.
young. So Christian 2 out on 16, Adam 3 out on 21, so 5 in it. So Christian, you have to go first on this one, and then I basically give Adam 2 options to win, or obviously if you get within a certain amount, he can't win. So the last one is another guy who had 2 spells at the club, and that is Des Walker.
Oh. 58.
58. So
I'm just
yeah,
trying to think.
Yeah, so
I think he's older anyway. I think he's 65.
He isn't. He's 59. That's why I can't really give you options here.
I thought he was at 40 in that second spell, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was 203. So I think it was only 20 years ago.
That's why I was thinking he's much older. So I thought like 22 years is on. He's like 62, I guess. So but I'd have been out anyway. But I thought to win.
Yes, I finally won one.
Really thanks for upsetting me as a kid, Des, by headed it straight to Sheffield United's net.
Wasn't his fault.
Just think, Reece, we wouldn't have got the magic season under Cooper if we'd won that game, maybe.
Well, we might have. We might have gone up and
we might have lost to Wolves in the final. Anyway, I was so happy when Wolves won that final. By the way, I was like, that's for pesky Salido.
Penny Miller
season we actually didn't beat Wolves in either game, so they probably might have beaten us. I remember it was 2-2 at home, and that they were 2-0 up. I think Michael Dawson scored the equaliser in front of the Trenton, if I remember correctly. So, right, just to wrap up then, just quickly. Just a score prediction for Arsenal, guys. Obviously, that's a week today as we record this. I have asked Lee for one, but he's not replied.
Straight after international break. I'm going to be bold. 1-1.
1-1. Adam?
I'm going 1-1 as well, actually.
Okay.
I'm just hoping we're stern in defence. I mean, it's a good time to play Arsenal, but also a bad time because I know you've mentioned Ødegaard coming back, but
it's going to be rusty.
I don't know. I think a lot of pressure is on Arsenal for this game because obviously I think if they lose or draw, I think they're well out of it. You know, I just think it's Liverpool's to lose this season at the moment. The way everything's going,
yeah, it is that way.
But with no disappointment. I mean, Arne Slot's going to go, we've had the perfect season when we lost to Forest.
Yeah.
He's not even going to be bothered. He's going to be sad. He'll be sad at the end of the
couldn't be pointing at the trophy like, where's your Premier League title, Forest?
I'm talking to Amanda from Same Old Forest for this week's preview.
Same old Arsenal, you mean?
Yeah, same old Arsenal. What did I call them?
Same old Forest.
Same thing, isn't it? Same thing with the same club. We've lent them a kit and everything.
Yeah,
same old Arsenal. So that would be good to have her back on. And she's a supporter. She's been going for home and away, I think, for like 40 years or so. So
seen all the days then.
She has seen all the days, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm also going to go for a draw, and I'm going to say that Arsenal, as Christian would say, Arteta stinks it out with his brand of terrorism. We get a 0-0 draw, which I would be delighted with. But I think, as we said in the last pod, it's just about keeping them out as much as we can, like we did at Liverpool. And then if it gets to the hour mark and it's still 0-0, you think, right, can we actually nick this? And we've proven that we can. So, and obviously his away form has been brilliant this season. So,
how do you guys think we'll kind of like go with a team there? Because obviously Liverpool, we sacrifice wingers to then bring them on in the end and kind of nick the game, but. Joe, with Arsenal, I'm not sure if we'll do that or if we will. I wouldn't be surprised if we did that. Dominguez and Anderson kind of
I
out
think
wide
we're
or not.
gonna. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise if we went similar to Liverpool and kind of stop Odegaard getting the ball as much and being tight in that middle. And it also wouldn't surprise me that would just kind of double up on Saka on the right. Shame really that Martinelli scored in his last game because he's been out of form for quite a long time now. That might kickstart him back because obviously he's a very talented player, as we saw in that League Cup game a few years back when he dismantled us. Yeah, we'll have to see, won't we? At least we're going into these games now, aren't we? Thinking we can get results rather than like the first season when we went there was an absolute disaster.
It's fine at half time.
Since that 5-0, we've had some really like close games with Arsenal. I know it's not always looked like that on paper or the eye, but we've been losing by the narrow goal, or we won 1-0 one game.
We actually did all right away there last season. Once we scored, we actually looked like and was a bit hesitant, I think, to go for it, weren't we? And then obviously Brennan Johnson missed that City, didn't he, at 0-0, if you remember? And then obviously the home game, as we said again before, Nuno got his tactics, as tedious as he was, pretty well. And then Matt Turner got beat by literally she dribbled across the ground, wasn't it? Yeah. So just to round off then, this is Lee has put this in the chat about it's a night with Paul McGregor, isn't it, at the Fox and Crown in Newark, which is on the Monday the 25th of November at 7 p.m. It's run by Yup Beer. So I think there's basically craft beer, real ale, and authentic Mexican food apparently. And the guys, I'm just reading the messages, the doors will open from 6 p.m. and to message on Facebook for that. I'm sure you'll see it advertised in various places if you look for like a night with Paul McGregor. And Christian, I'll let you go on. I'll let you take it away for your announcement.
Yeah, I didn't really plan on saying too much, I guess. But I suppose to reveal that I am now an author, which is quite strange to say. And yeah, this is the book. Just can't get enough of Steve Cooper's.
Okay, and I believe you're going to do a giveaway, aren't you? So
we've got one to give away.
Look out on the socials for that. I'm
sure you've released this at the perfect time, haven't you, Christian? Just Christmas round the door.
Just as we're beating them as well.
You can reminisce round. You can give it to your dar and reminisce around the fireplace.
Yeah.
I was
remember that game at Millwall where we nicked it 1-0.
We're the Dars now for Steve Cooper.
We are, yeah.
Yes,
I was thinking an international break, like no Forest, good time sort of thing. But no, it was nice, obviously revisiting everything, and I just keen to stress we have obviously all moved on. We're all on the beverages with Nuno, but yeah, it was still a very important time of our history, and to document that was very, very special. So yeah, I hope you like it, and yeah, we'll do a giveaway.
Where can people buy it, Christian?
Currently only on Amazon in a minute, but in due course, hopefully Waterstones online as well. I think that's definitely the plan. I just need to get a few things moving in that direction first and foremost. But yeah, it's available on Amazon, which to be fair is probably good. You can get it on Kindle or paperback. Have you
spoke to Forest about stocking it?
Not yet. That I need to do something else first before that can happen, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm in the process of sorting that out.
You'll be doing a book signing at the store.
Whether they stock it or not is another matter. I mean, given
you and Cafe or Giorgio say 2-2 for Matt.
I'll say 2-2 in there, yeah.
Yeah. So
part of that iconic team.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And then the last before we leave is to talk about FPL, which is topped by a gentleman called Steve Bunn, who's on 754 points, and he's actually 15th in the whole Forest League. So well done to Steve on that. But so that's it for this one. As Adam said, we'll be back with same old Arsenal in the week to talk about his visit to the Emirates on Saturday. But yeah, hopefully enjoy this one. And until then, enjoy the game against Ireland if you're an England fan this week. Hopefully we can smash them again. Sorry to any Irish listeners. But yeah, until then, come on, you Reds.